people come to birth work for different reasons, but a lot of times it is their own birth experience that brings
Mhm.
them to birth work. And it's either that they had a really awful experience and they want to help other people's experience be better, or they had a rock star experience and like have to help other people do that. That one was me.
Mhm.
And I didn't think I had any trauma. And then there are certain things that I can't handle in a birth that make me go, whoom. And I didn't know that I was bringing with me. And so even though my experience was positive, I still have things I brought with me. So why is this conversation so important?
It is because we just sometimes never know what may be triggered or brought back up for us. So when I'm
Trigger
working,
warning.
yeah, yeah,
Right now, trigger warning. We're probably going to talk about some stuff that might be triggering.
yes, the things that activate us, even when I'm working with parents that don't are shocked, just taken back by like all these things, this trauma that I've had before, this childhood stuff coming up. I thought I was past that. And that happens too when we're so close to it working in the birth world, whether you're like me and, a therapist working with someone going through it, or you're there in the delivery room or, the setting with them. And
Or
I think
postpartum
it's,
doula, even.
yeah,
And you know what? I've
absolutely.
actually recently realized it comes up in even sleep consulting and parent coaching
Oh, I bet. I
because
bet.
you might be coaching somebody through something and have your own trauma from
Mhm.
what happened to you in childhood
Yeah.
or what happened when you were helping your child through something. We all
Mhm.
come in with our own biases.
Yeah, those things stick with you. And sometimes in our reproductive history, it's like there's not this timeline that it sees the months or the years in between. It's like everything related to it just comes rushing right back up, or it can, and that can just be jarring for some. And I remember I was leading some or facilitating some support groups for doulas that were entering, getting their certification, and they said, they needed to come talk to someone about all the different things that can come up. And it's not bad. It's not that you're not doing something right if these things come up for you. We're humans. We
Yeah.
have trauma histories and they stay with us. So the more we know and talk about it and just kind of, normalize that it's there, we can get ahead of the symptoms or, what can lead to vicarious trauma. So we're all subject
Yeah.
to it.
And
So,
I've heard, and the body remembers, you hear that. And,
mhm.
I was a C-section baby, right? And my mom had like emergent preeclampsia in labor, 19 hours of labor at 19 years old. And all of a sudden we had to be rushed to C-section because her blood pressure's through the roof, all of these, and it's life-saving, right?
Yeah.
But they say that the body remembers. Like, I wonder if that has anything to do with why I was so passionate. I don't know, right? And then also, I hemorrhaged with my son after I
Mhm.
gave birth, and I had a really awesome birth experience. But then now when I'm at births, if that's my trigger is blood, if I hear it
Yeah.
if I hear it falling or if I see it pooling. I was at a birth last week and it was a beautiful home birth. And I said to the midwife at one point, I'm so glad I'm not you. And she goes, why?
Yeah.
I said, because that pool has turned straight up red. And I would be getting her out of the tub because I'd be like, just in case, just in case.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
even said to the midwife, can I just have 5 more minutes? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, do we have 5 more minutes? And she goes, I can still see her legs. Like, I can
Yeah.
still see the color of her legs. And I'm like, but what if we can't in 2 minutes?
Right.
Because
Right.
that's my thing. I can't
Yeah.
handle it.
Your
And so,
system is still like, hey, it turns that quickly. We
danger.
have to be on guard for it. Yeah.
Yeah, danger. So, yeah, what are some early signs? Those are some real signs. And I think for newer doulas too, or newer birth workers, they might go, I don't think that that's going to happen to me. Or how could that happen to me? What are some examples? So that's why I wanted to give those examples of the
Yes.
places that it comes up for me. But what are some early signs that maybe a doula or a provider, because,
Mhm.
nurses, OBs, midwives, that
Yes.
they may
Lots of
have
us in
their
birth
own
world.
past experiences being
Mhm.
triggered?
I say one, if that's a clear thing, you're like, wow, I remember this story. Either it happened to me or my sister or someone else, and it's bringing all that back up. I mean, that's a clear sign, but sometimes they're a little more subtle. It can be like, I'm very excited. I've loved this work. And then all of a sudden, I'm not jazzed about it anymore, or I'm feeling really fearful, or I'm just annoyed by people asking me to do things. or, starting to look through every situation like, oh no, this may come up and I really don't think I want to do that, or this may, and I don't think that's for me. We should be boundaried and we have a, choice on and what we take on. But I think if it's happening where nothing just sounds good to you, and you're finding yourself like in your home life, not even liking the things that you normally used to, not finding inspiration in the things that you used to, or motivation. Those are some of the first signs that you may be moving towards either burnout, or that burnout being a result of vicarious trauma.